Welcome to Noon on Tuesday. I'm your host, Gina, here, and I'm with my hostess with the mostest, Jess. How are you, Jess?
Good. How are you?
Good. So today, this one is really interesting to me because I think we all know you can adopt a child, right? You can adopt a dog, but did you know you can adopt an Alp, right? All right, so we are here today to learn about this Adopt an Alp program from Caroline Hostetler. Welcome, Caroline. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Good. Well, Caroline, you, I understand, are with Quality Cheese, who sponsors or who has created this Adopt an Alp program, right?
That's correct, yes.
Oh, very good. And Caroline, I hear a bit of an accent from you. Where are you from?
I am Swiss at heart, and always will be.
Well, very good. Awesome, Caroline. Well,
Don't
tell us.
Expect me to yodel.
Can you do this? That's not a prerequisite as being a Swiss? No? All right, we won't. We'll wait to the end of the program. Maybe you'll be ready then.
I'll leave this to the pros, yes.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I guess first of all, Caroline, tell us a little bit about this, yourself and how you got into this program with Quality Cheese and a little bit about Adopt an Alp in general.
Well, Quality Cheese is a company that I founded exactly 20 years ago. I had moved to Florida from Switzerland 2 years prior, and I really, really missed cheese, good cheese, well-made cheese. And I had this idea, being a food writer at the time, having all the connections to chefs and stores, to try it and start importing cheeses. So that's what Quality Cheese is. We import high-end, very unique cheeses made in Switzerland.
Oh, lovely.
And happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Thank you. And over time, I always had liked and loved cheeses. I always loved to eat them. But I really developed a passion, especially for Alp cheeses. And it was more than the cheeses. It was the entire lifestyle that really fascinated me, that people still try to keep up a tradition, try to preserve a lifestyle that generations before them had done. And it's not something very easy. It's more marked by lack than by luxury. But still, it has to be something very satisfying, bringing out those very healthy, very characterful, wonderful cheeses. And at the same time, I realized that it's very hard to understand for people who have not grown up with that tradition to understand really the background of transhumans and going to the Alp and making Alp cheese only in the summer. So I decided that I wanted to do something for these cheesemakers, also for us, the customers, in order to keep the tradition alive. That's how Adopt an Alp was born in 2013.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you bring up such a good point. That it's so interesting that so many businesses are founded when you see a need or something that you really wish you could find in the market, and that's what you did. You just missed that beautiful, beautiful cheese. That's awesome. That really
was
the gist of it. Because I do agree, like cheeses from the Alps are like none other on the planet, right? I mean, unless you've been there to see it, you can't understand. And that brings us to the term that you use, that transhumans. Can you describe what that is?
Mm-hmm. Briefly or roughly said, it is the moving of humans and animals in accordance with the season. So in the summer, they will go all together as one big family or team up to higher altitudes. And then when it gets colder and the meadows are basically eaten down, they will go further down again. And this is something that has been done probably since before the year 1000. It always has been done, not only in Switzerland. Switzerland is like a central of this tradition, but also in France, in Austria, in Italy. This used to be done the thing is, what fascinates me too is it's not just good for the people, the society, the animals. It's also a very important part of taking care of nature. Basically, these animals during the summer are landscapers in the mountains. And this is a very important part of keeping the mountains and those pastures healthy and alive and as rich as they are.
Oh, interesting. I never really thought about that aspect. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I love that term, landscapers on the mountain.
Yeah.
That's really good. Describe a little bit, Caroline, of what they are really eating. I don't think people here, especially in San Diego, can understand the richness of what they're eating. What are they eating up there?
Right. So first off, they only eat what is around them. There's no added feed that they receive, but they are outside most of the time 24/7. Unless it gets brutally hot, even out there, cows don't like the heat. They can deal with cold, but not with heat very well. And there have been studies done in various countries. The big thing is that up on an Alp, you find a variety of up to, and that's the very newest point of knowledge, up to 150 different grasses, herbs, and flowers that those cows will eat. And this is unbelievable compared to valley pastures. There you find up to a dozen if it comes high. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine. And then this richness combined with the fact that on an Alp, far away, high up from the whole, traffic and all the pollution that we do every single day, these people, most of them, they go with spring water. So the water is very pure. The meadows are very rich. The air is cleaner than when you graze next to let's say, a highway.
Sure.
So all of this together just makes for the most precious, most nutritious, most natural feed. And this reflects in the milk. Milk from the Alp is richer, is better in fat ratios, better in omega-3 and 6 ratios. It's just a much more healthy milk.
Oh, which makes them one of a kind, some of the most unique on the planet, right? Yeah. Oh, to be able to eat like that, and 150 different herbs, grasses, and flowers, right?
That's crazy.
Crazy, right? And that goes to the truth, you are what you eat. And so when they're putting something so good in their tummies, they're producing milks that create all these extra flavors that you get from those grasses and herbs and flowers, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so awesome. So the Adopt an Alp, how does, I know, Jess, you've worked with Jessica, who's our main champion monger at our Mission Hill store. Jess, how did you meet Caroline, or how did you learn about Adopt an Alp, and how did we adopt an Alp? This was awesome.
I can't pinpoint exactly what I know, but I know it was, I know Lisa from Cheese Addiction. I think she had participated in it, and we are friends because she used to be part of the she's still part of the Venissimo family, extended family of Venissimo. And so I saw her participating in this, and actually, you know what? I heard Caroline on another podcast, and I was just so intrigued and so inspired by this effort to keep this tradition alive, and like bringing in high quality cheeses from maybe some smaller farmers that maybe don't have access to like exporting or whatnot, distribution. Yeah. And so from there, I just kind of Googled and then I found the website and got connected with Caroline, and that's pretty much
how it comes.
Yeah.
This is good. Which Alp did we get to adopt? Yeah.
We did quite a few different ones instead of doing all of one. For Mission Hill Shop, we're bringing in 6 different cheeses.
What? Yeah.
So our theme, I think, that we were going with is doing something from west to east. So we've tried to do the different regions across Switzerland, And then in addition to that, we did get two, and I'm probably, oh man, I'll probably, how would
Maybe
you say
Caroline
this?
can help. Okay, Caroline, we're guessing this is Satalegli? No, that's not even close.
Satalegli, yes.
So
Close.
with them, we decided, in addition to doing a west to east theme, we are doing, I don't know, what would you call this? We're going to do, bring in a 2013 wheel and a 2016 wheel and compare those as well.
Ah, nice. Caroline, would you call that like different vintages? Like in wine terms, it would be a different vintage? What would you call that when you have two?
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that? Okay.
That's what I call them. Yeah, you can do a vertical tasting with your
Vertical
cheeses,
tasting. There you go.
Ah, vertical. That's it. That's it.
I haven't had coffee yet. So.
It's a little late. Awesome. Okay, vertical. Caroline, how did you've met Jess too, right?
Let me tell you. Sorry, the vertical tasting is actually very, very precise in this case. The Satalegli, what they produce is a Bernese Alp and Hobelkäse. Alpkäse, it's called until it's 3 years old. And from that point on, it changes name. It's one of the only cheeses in the world that changes name with age. And when it's a Hobelkäse, Hobel meaning shaving, then it's a cheese that they shave over a tool very similar to a mandolin in the kitchen. They shave it into paper-thin layers, and they naturally roll up into those cigar-like looking beautiful things. Oh. And those cheeses, this is an AOP cheese only made in the Bernese Alps. This cheese actually is stored vertically, not horizontal on the wood planks. Very interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
And why do they do that? Standing up versus laying down? Just
so some theories say that they could save space with that system, that they take less space. And others say it's a way of moving the fat in the cheeses in an equal way, because they also, instead of turning the cheese, you roll the cheese like by 8 of a wheel of a diameter. So all the time the cheeses get turned or rolled over, so the fat is not just in one place.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to try it.
And to try to shave it like she's describing, right?
Need to get
we
some
need to get
tools.
a mandolin. We need tools, man. We need tools. That sounds good. Can we just use a mandolin, or truly a mandolin, or can you use like a potato peeler? Would that work too, Caroline?
A mandolin probably will work. A potato peeler, probably not so much. Like you will misshape the cheese over time. Sure. But a mandolin would work. You just cut a fairly big wedge and then be very careful, because the cheese after 3 years is very, very hard, very, very dense, very compact. So don't slip on that mandolin.
Very, very, yes. Safety warning with anyone trying this at home.
Yep.
Will this cheese, Caroline, have the little crystals in it? Like the little crunchy.
The 3-year-old will, yes.
The 3-year-old will, because I know Jess taught us all about crystals last week. So that's going to be yummy. But then it still curls like a little cigar. We got to test that.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited.
That sounds good. Yeah. And again, you say Satalegli, correct?
Satalegli.
Oh, Satalegli. Got it. Man, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this. Jess, tell us some of the other ones that you're bringing. We can confirm our pronunciations on those as well.
Well, you know what I do with customers. With some customers, I make phone appointments where we agree that they will not pick up their phone, and then I speak those pronunciations on their phones so they can repeat them in the store.
Okay, yeah, we totally need to set that up.
Scheduling a call. Very, very good.
Wasserberg,
yeah.
Well done.
This is a wonderful organic production, and this is the only female cheesemaker that we have in the program this year. She's a wonderful lady.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we have Prepan, which I believe they just won an award for their cheese.
They did. It's amazing. Their cheesemaker is 24 years young. It's his second summer on this Alp. He has taken over as the Alp master, incredibly young, and he won silver last year at the same contest, and this year gold. So you're in for a treat there.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Super excited. Beliki? I'm not sure if I said that one right.
Blakey. Yes, and you get a sprint from that Alp, and this is a cheese that is outstanding. A little similar to the Saccolecchi, also, sprints, very dense, very heavy cheeses, wonderful crystally after a while, the sweetness, the salt. And Paul Barmettler, the cheesemaker on Blakey, he has received the only perfect score, the perfect 20 in every taxation of the entire summer of Alp Springs producers. So his cheeses are very high level, wonderful.
Yeah, so if anybody's, because we get requests for sprints every now and then, but we don't always have it.
Correct.
So this will be the
option.
time.
Blakey.
One of the best. And then this one, the last one for Mission Hills, Caroline, you had picked for us the Urner Boden.
Urner Boden, yeah. This is a great operation in the way that it shows exactly why we are doing Adopt an Alp. The Urner Boden is the biggest dairy Alp of all Switzerland. They receive milk from over 40 farmers. And the thing with this Alp is that of those 40 or plus farmers, a few years back, all of those, they were about to quit. It's very complicated, and it can be very time and energy consuming to go on the Alp as a little family with your own maybe 15 and 20 cows, maintain your own dairy, make a little bit of cheese, but not really much because it's just you. And so all these farmers, they face the fact that at some point they need renovations. They need to invest in the dairy, in their house, in the barns. And most of those by now just cannot afford this anymore because they cannot produce with their own hands enough cheese to make enough money. So a lot of these farmers give up. And this region, going to the Alp, is such an important historical and traditional part that the political teams, they decided we cannot just let this happen. We cannot just watch as they give up. We need to help them. And so they founded money. They organized those farmers as a co-op. So these farmers, they own, co-own, and operate this Urner Boden Alp dairy. And now these families, they keep on going up to the Alp. They take their animals, but they do not make the cheese, each one themselves anymore. They bring the milk to the central co-op, and there they have a professional cheesemaker with 2 apprentices making the cheese. So each involved part focuses on what they do best, and they don't have to struggle and scramble and go left and right and have 18-hour days for the duration of the summer and go down and just be dead almost. So this is a really modern undertaking, but combining the tradition with the innovation and taking care of modern tools, modern structures, organizations, and still come out with that beautiful traditional product called Alp Cheese. So this is a very future-oriented undertaking, and I like that very much.
Oh, well, thank you so much for picking that one for us. That's a beautiful story of how to incorporate both tradition yet change with the times.
Sure. And make it possible for people to flourish. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think that is the really, if transhumance and that whole tradition and lifestyle does have a future, then that's it. You cannot just remain in the past. it will just financially never work out. And if you want to involve the next generation, your children that grow up into being also professionals, you need to take advantage of what can be done, not by ignoring what has been, by keeping alive what is great from the past and taking the good things from the new world. And I think these operations, Parpan is a very similar structured thing, just much smaller. But them too, they saw those 4 Alps, they cannot function anymore on their own. Let's put them together. Let's put forces together. Each one does what they're specialists in and focus on that. And that is, in my belief, that's the future of transhumans and the way to keep it alive, really.
Yeah, keep a beautiful tradition alive and then share it with the world. Now it becomes more easy to share that story, right? A little better. Awesome. Mm-hmm. That's just awesome. Yep. So for our east to west theme then, which is the furthest east of those cheeses and which is the furthest west, Caroline? Trying to picture these Alps on a map.
The furthest east clearly is Parpan. Mm-hmm. That is a canton in Switzerland is what you have here as a state. Mm-hmm. We have 26 cantons. So Parpan is in the outermost eastern canton, bordering to Austria. Mm-hmm. And then the furthest west is Sotolekli. Mm-hmm. That is small place, also a very, very traditional place in the Bernese Alps.
Ah, so beautiful. Awesome. Yeah.
I'm going to have to print out a map and
we'll
post
have to
it up in the shop.
Exactly, to show where each of these came from.
I already had like a customer, her family is from Switzerland, and we were like, oh, we're getting like all different Alpage cheeses in. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she pointed out which one was closest to where her family was from. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's really cool. She'll be so excited.
Yeah.
To get a taste. Do we have like a time schedule when we think these might be arriving in the States, in the shops?
They should be arriving this week, I think, to the shop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great. Because, Caroline, I'm assuming, because they're making all these cheeses high up in the Alps, right? All the cheesemakers are up there making this, right? They don't come down the hill to get made, right?
No, that's correct. That is actually one of 2 definitions. People over here, I think, still have a hard time with finding a definition for what is Alp cheese. It does not actually depend on the altitude. Alp cheese can be made on 4,200 feet or it can be made on 7,000 feet. That doesn't matter. What really makes Alp cheese and none other, and don't call it Alpine or Alpine style, because either a cheese is Alpkäse and certified so or it's not. So the 2 main things that count is Alp cheese is only made seasonally. Mm-hmm. It's only made throughout that period of time when the herds and humans move up to a different altitude. And most of these cheesemakers, summer cheesemakers, are seasonal cheesemakers. They are farmers by trade. Mm-hmm. And throughout the other 8 to 9 months of the year, when they are not up there, they do not make cheese. Mm-hmm. So that is one thing. Alpkäse is seasonal. If a person tells you that this cheese is made year-round, then you know it's not Alpkäse. It cannot be. Then the second point that is very important and is demanded in order to get certified to be Alpkäse or Alp cheese is that the cheese has to be made right where those humans work and live and the animals live and graze. Mm-hmm. Meaning you cannot transport milk, let's say, down to a valley dairy. You can transport milk from one hut to the dairy on the same Alp. Uh-huh. That's why Urnerboden can get milk from 40 different huts or herds. But you cannot go a distance. You need to stay on that Alp where the animals live and yourself, you live and work and
great distinction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very important to understand, and it's something that's often a bit neglected.
Yeah,
So
on that distinction.
What
Okay.
what would be a good term for cheeses that are made in the area but not using transhumanists?
Right, like maybe
just
Gruyere?
just Swiss?
Yeah.
A Swiss cheese?
There's Gruyères that are alpages, and there's Gruyères that are just Gruyères AOP. So if we have one producer in our program, they are Gruyere alpage producers, because they do go up. They're farmers. They go up to their Alp every summer. They only make Gruyere AOP, and their Gruyere is an alpage because they only make it there and then. The closest probably will be a mountain certified producer, because he deals with similar circumstances, just he deals with those year round. And again, a mountain cheese producer, they have their cheeses certified in order to stand out. That's why we want to eliminate the term alpine or alpine style or mountain style. Either you are or you're not.
Or you're not.
Pretty important.
We'll have to help educate that, Caroline, because we have been guilty of that. People kind of, are used to saying alpine cheeses and making it very broad.
I know.
Default, like
default.
fall
It's
back
just
on
very,
that.
and it is not easy to understand, and that's why we do work in that field. The thing is, to me, if you mix up those terms, something very difficult can happen, and that is something that will be punishing the farmers who produce those Alpkäse. The thing is, if you come with a cheese that is made in a factory on, let's say, 1,500 feet in a nice, convenient village, beautiful cheese-making facility, and they make it year-round, everything's good, the cheese can be very good. I don't judge this. But to call it Alpine style will make the real Alpkäse look a bit bad, because it naturally will be a bit more expensive than that wannabe Alpine style. So, if somebody comes by me and says, well, I have an Alpine style for $10, you charge me $14, then I have to start explaining that Alpine style really does not say much. And some people, they argue that with Alpine style, they mean it's a pressed cheese or so on.
Sure.
These are terms that are mainly used in France. In Switzerland, nobody talks about the pressed cheese or a little bit pressed. We just distinguish by the mountain cheeses, Alpkäse, or the AOP one.
Okay.
So I think it's our task to educate. I come from there. I'm lucky enough to, have worked with these people and have been exposed to them. And I just want that they get the respect and recognition that they deserve, and that, we actively support them and they have a chance to export. And we, as Jessica said, we have a chance here to try cheeses that without the program would never make it over here, because these people have other things to do than, looking into logistics or export laws and all these nice things. So
exactly.
That's our thing.
That you get to do for them. That's perfect. And then we just get to enjoy this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cheese.
We're up for the challenge of trying to spread that education, even amongst us mongers,
Share amongst ourselves, and just learn this. So I think this is really good, right, Jess? The difference between the Alpage, the mountain, or AOP.
Yes.
We can put them in the right category, the proper, just the proper respect of where each cheese comes from.
And if you want to participate even further with these stories of where these cheeses are coming with, we'll be posting stuff on our social media. I'm hoping to do like a weekend at the shop where maybe we'll do like a tasting, the vertical tasting as well as the regional tasting.
Right. We'll try to do a cutting of a wheel, right? We'll try to bring one in where people can really watch us cut one of these big bad boys.
So there's all different ways that you can participate and learn more about
exactly
These
about this whole program,
Alpage
right?
cheeses.
The Alpage cheeses.
The real deal.
The real deal. The Alpage is the real deal. This is the cream of the crop, right? The king of the mountain, I guess you would say in the case of the Alpages. And we can send people, right, Caroline, to, it's on the web at adopt-an-alp.com, adoptanalp.com. And you can, there's videos you have on there. You've got beautiful pictures. You can watch the animals come down from the mountains. You can see what they're eating, and that's just really, to me, one of the most eye-opening things.
And we will be able to share specifically the cheeses that we are getting, some of those photos and videos of the actual people who are making the cheese and the cows and where they're from.
Yeah. We are also on Instagram as Adopt An Alp, and we are on Facebook, Adopt An Alp. And Jessica, share what you do in those stores. You know, there's that contest, and the winners will be going to Switzerland next summer. So meet their families and meet their Alp, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. So make sure any efforts, events, tastings, social media, whatever, comments from your customers even, share anything, everything with us. I sent out that info, but that will be very fun to see what the stores do with the program, how they communicate it, and how they make people think and learn and enjoy really those cheeses.
Yeah. Oh, Caroline, you're gonna see Jessica there next year at the Alp. she's gonna make it to the Alp because she's got this creative. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, she's in on this. But we thank you for sharing, Caroline, all that great information. I can't wait to try these. It just sounds fabulous.
So
and stay tuned, everybody. We'll promote it and let you know the minute they arrive, and come in and give it a taste. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for supporting the program.
You're welcome, Caroline.
Appreciate that.
And may we say Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Okay. Bye. Tschüss.
Bye-bye. Bye.